All right, that was President Trump live from the White House with a major address to the country. Here with reaction in Washington, we have Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, Alabama Senator Katie Britt, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator Barrasso, you were saying it during the speech. That is, well, first of all, what a difference a year make. A guy by the name of Joe Biden could not give that speech with the energy and the force of Donald Trump. You called it political shock and awe.
And that's what we've had for a year, shock and awe, with the president focused on the economy, focused on putting more money in people's pockets, and as you heard him tonight, focused on affordability. We have reversed the direction of this country dramatically. On the border is now secure. On energy, we're now energy dominant. On taxes, we prevented a $4 trillion tax increase that the Democrats were promoting, and on national security, it is now peace through strength. He inherited, and we inherited as Republicans, a country that was weaker, poorer, less safe, and we said we need to provide safety and prosperity. We've done that. The president talked about this major piece of legislation that we passed, the working families tax cuts. There are things in that for everyone. Tax cuts as well, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. These things are all going to continue to put more money in people's pockets, and they really go into place in 2026. So next year is going to be better than this year.
Senator Britt, I'd look at this and break it into categories. Yeah. The mess he was left, all that he's done, the difference, and comparing and contrasting, and I thought they very effectively used these charts tonight.
Absolutely.
And I think they speak loudly to the American people because there's always an impatience, but his entire tax plan has not even gone into effect
yet. Hasn't even gone into effect yet. That's exactly right. And you look at the contrast. I mean, that was outstanding. And you said it during the break. We talked about it. President Otto Penn, that just left office, could have never done that. He very clearly said to the American people, I see you. And look at the things that we've done. What he has accomplished in just these first 10, 11 months is remarkable, but I think more is yet to come. Look, as a parent, I think about this. He secured our border. He did it. We passed the Lake and Riley Act. It's actually the first immigration enforcement law that we've passed in like 30 years. In addition to that, he has taken on fentanyl. How many kids are going to have to die before we actually take it serious? President Trump said, I'm not talking about it. I am doing something about it. We've seen it from the border to what he's done with Venezuela. And then you look at no men and women's sports. Look, I have a daughter who plays volleyball, who plays basketball. I want her to have a fair opportunity to compete on that court. And President Trump gave her that. You want them to feel safe in the locker room, and you want them to have opportunity in the arena. And he changed the dynamic on that. Look, we could go on and on. He talked about no indoctrination. We've said we want our kids to be educated, not indoctrinated. He has said our Department of Education is failing our next generation. And he's not just going to talk about it, he's going to do something. And tonight he laid out for the American people not only what he has done, but he has said there is more to come. It's things like the Trump accounts, Sean. Look, as a new parent, if your child is born during the Trump administration, you're going to get $1,000 into this account. We're already seeing philanthropists step up. We're already seeing different businesses saying, I'm going to do this for my employees. So he is creating this public-private partnership that ultimately is going to allow everyday Americans to achieve the American dream. And having a piece of that and having a piece of hope again, because after the Biden administration, with wide open borders, with total chaos abroad, total chaos, and with parents who felt like the government was in their way, President Trump has changed the dynamic, and it's a good day for our country and more to come.
Senator Graham, I mean, he touched on everything. Yeah. He talked about issues abroad, about all the time, energy, resources, the personal investment he has had in world conflicts to bring peace in the Middle East, but also around the globe, peace in Europe, still working on that deal, how he inherited a mess, all the changes he's put in place, closed the borders, bringing back, restoring law and order. This city is, Exhibit A, right? Lower taxes, largest tax cut in American history, energy dominant policies, which I think everybody will be impacted by. Again, no tax tips, overtime, Social Security. There's a lot in this speech.
Well, the headline for me is when he says the best is yet to come, he made a case to make that believable. The trend lines are all going in the right direction. In 2022, gas was almost $5 per gallon. In December this year, It's the lowest it's been since 2021. The trend lines are going in the right direction in terms of gas prices. In terms of energy, Biden canceled the XL pipeline. He stopped new leases to find American-owned oil and gas. Trump has reversed that. In July of this year, the most oil produced in a day in America, we hit that number in July of 2025. A 25% increase of exporting natural gas, which is good for domestic markets here. So the bottom line is these charts tell you that the trend lines on energy, on housing cost are going in the right direction. And if we stay with these policies, we do another reconciliation bill, be patient, help is on the way. Simple explanation of housing. If 12 million people come into your country legally in a 4-year period and they're not sleeping in the streets, they're staying in hotels, they're staying in apartments paid for by your government, and the Biden administration won't let you build new houses because you can't cut down a tree, then housing prices are going to go up. What is Trump doing different than Biden? He's kicking people out, and he's unleashing the ability to build a house in America. So mortgage rates are coming down, housing supply is going to go up, gas production is at an all-time high. So the trend lines are real. Mr. President, you just did not say the best is yet to come. You proved to the American people that when it comes to their prosperity and security, by this time next year, you will see a major difference.
When these tax cuts go into effect, when energy dominant policies drive the lifeblood of the world's economy down even further, when the trillions in investment come into manufacturing with 100% depreciation in year one, where are we going to be at the end of the second quarter next year? Because if Democrats want to talk about affordability, I would imagine they might be eating a lot of those words.
Well, I think they will. And it's so interesting watching the president because he's so good. He didn't even get to the fact that we stopped a lot of bad things that the Biden administration had been doing. The Biden administration wanted all of us to be force-fed electric vehicles. We reversed that. They wanted to eliminate the internal combustion engine. So, what we're doing is producing more gas, oil, coal, and energy. The other thing we didn't talk about yet are these warrior dividends. I was overseas at Ramstein Air Force Base for Thanksgiving. I go every year to visit our overseas Wyoming troops for Thanksgiving. This is going to go over very well with the 1.4 million men and women in uniform in Thanksgiving. What, $1,776 for 1,776?
1,450,000 troops will get that.
Look, we're putting more money back in Americans' pockets as a result of President Trump's leadership. We're going to see it on everything, the no tax on tips and no tax on overtimes, but even in childcare. This is something Democrats have talked about for years, Sean. And President Trump has led the way, allowing parents to keep more of their hard-earned money and actually tackling the affordability and accessibility of childcare. So there are so many things that we have done that people haven't actually gotten to reap the benefits of yet, and they will next year. When that happens, I think the economy, it's going to be good stuff.
Senator Graham, we're going to give you the last word, but Polymarket, by the way, they're running a poll right now, or they have odds on whether or not you're going to say the word BS the way you did the other night.
I want to get in on that. I want to get in on that.
A G-rated version. I feel good. I'm happy I don't cuss. And let me what I'm happy about. If you want to bring health care costs down, listen to President Trump and follow his lead. All the money under Obamacare goes to health care insurance companies. President Trump wants to take some of that money and give it to you so you can shop for better health care. That will lower health care. Monopolies are bad.
Wait a minute. The Affordable Care Act needs permanent subsidies because it's not so affordable?
Exactly.
Millions lost their doctors' plans.
Is the best thing that ever happened to a health care insurance company. It's the worst thing that ever happened to a consumer.
I thank you all. Senator Barrasso, Senator Britt, Senator Graham. Thank you all.